As we all know, any instructional design models act as a framework for instructions. The model provides guidelines to organize appropriate pedagogical scenarios to achieve instructional goals. Wow, that's a lot! And very important. My job this week was to select an instructional design model for my mini module on cybersecurity. In order to select the perfect instructional design model for my course, I needed to consider the following. First, cognition. Which model appeals to me? Which is my favorite based on the way that I think and create? Next, I used my learning objectives as my reference point. This showed the type of learning that needs to take place. Learning styles and needs of my learners were my next priority. In a nutshell, my graduate students are seasoned online learners who have a preference for multimodal presentation of content. Learner-centered education is always a top priority. I made sure that the model allowed me to focus on learner-centered content and create content to increase student engagement. My students are a very diverse group of individuals, and it's important that I select a model that could be successfully manipulated to create a wonderful multicultural educational experience. I carefully evaluated every aspect of a few design models and after thoughtful consideration decided that a blended model would fit my needs. Ta-da! The blend that I selected was a combination of the NERC and Gustafson model blended with the iterative simplicity of the SAM1 model. Although the NERC and Gustafson model, from now on I'll call it the KNG model because it's way too difficult to say a number of times. This model allows for iteration during the development phase. I found that the SAM1 model reflected the way that I do my work. I fly by the seat of my pants, think well on my feet when creating an online course, and ask questions like, what media should I use? What do my students need? And yikes, what was I thinking? I can't fly. Well, back to reality. SAM1 has an agile approach to development. You can go through 2 or 3 steps at the same time, and this is efficient. SAM is a rapid development model that uses a continuous iterative design process throughout the life cycle of development rather than a one step at a time in the KNG model. It is a perfect companion for my course. The key to surviving a SAM1 model build is to understand that nothing is carved in stone, and that time stands still for no one. And this is exactly how I work. The SAM1 model has 3 steps: analyze, design, and develop. Good things come in threes, because the KNG model also has 3 distinct phases. Phase 1 is the problem determination phase. During this phase, I conduct my needs assessment for my learners, my task analysis, and I plan and formulate my instructional goals. This gives me the information that I need to determine the skills and information that I need to address in the module. The problem that I identified after this process was that my learners need to acquire basic information regarding definition of cybersecurity terminology, security roles of professionals, and the phases of security systems development lifecycle. So phase 1 is pretty much complete. Next is the design phase. During this phase, I determine the learning objectives for the module, making sure that they are on target with the instructional goals. I consider the learner profile, what my presentation strategies will be, and I begin to specify the media and media characteristics that I will use to create the course content, making sure that they align with the learning objective. Next is the development phase. During this phase, I will look at the effectiveness of the instruction, how efficient the content and structure of the course are, the logistics, and I will critically evaluate how my learners will accept the content and the process. As always, I need to keep the learning objectives in mind as I revise the materials until the criterion levels are met and the learning objectives obtained. The development phase is where the iterative process begins. I can select, analyze, implement, prototype, and revise content. This is also where the flexibility is built into this model. The model does not dictate the order in which the revisions take place. For example, I can analyze results, then select a different material, revise the material, implement, prototype, analyze, and do it all over again in any sequence that works for me. The only place that the KNG model is set in stone is that the goals and the learning objectives need to be created before any revision can take place. Yay! A blended model is for me. I will begin designing using the 3 phases of the NERC and Gustafson model with an overarching umbrella of the SAM1 design. And as I begin to iterate, I will be evaluating the entire process and not just the developmental phase as described in the K&G model. In my opinion, keeping the design simple and straightforward is the key to success. Building a comprehensive, engaging, learner-centered course is the goal. Hopefully, I'm on the right track.